Hey y'all, how are you? I hope you're well. So, big trigger warning on this video. We're going to be talking about diets, obviously, food, brief mentions of weight loss, no numbers, and if you have emetophobia or just can't handle hearing talk about like nausea and things like that, I would recommend skipping this video. Really, I just want to talk about my experience with the carnivore diet. Also, if you are here because you're considering it, in big bold letters before I say anything else, talk to your doctor about it. Just a huge disclaimer, because, reactions are going to vary from person to person. But yeah, I'm just going to talk about my experience, the things I noticed, the way my body reacted, and maybe some tips that I found helpful. So yeah. So first things first, what is the carnivore diet? The carnivore diet, at least the one that I did, meant that I could only eat meat, eggs, and some dairy, which was pretty much just cheese. I know there is a type where you can eat yogurt, but I did not do that. I did this for 3 months, and the goal for this diet was to try to reset my gut, because your gut affects everything, and to kill a potential yeast overgrowth that comes from eating like carbs and gluten and stuff like that. Also, cutting out sugar. I did drink coffee creamer until the last few weeks, but we had to cut that out because apparently every time I would drink the coffee creamer, it would take my body out of ketosis. So it was rough, but we had to cut that out. Coffee is a comfort drink of mine, so it was difficult, but yeah, cutting out sugar, especially overly processed foods and sugars, can be such a good idea just health-wise, and you do eventually stop craving it, which is so nice. It's definitely difficult at first, but the cravings lessen. So yeah, but for me, just meat, eggs, and cheese. So the first few days were pretty easy. I was motivated. I didn't miss food that much yet, and I was not super nauseous. And then I hit day 4, and it was rough for a while after that. The detox process was difficult. I was nauseous all the time. I threw up multiple times, and it felt like it lasted forever. I'm not sure how long it was, but it felt like a long time. My parents had actually gotten me a relief band for Christmas or before I started the diet, because I was dealing with chronic nausea anyway, and that was a real lifesaver. I had that on as much as possible, and for me, in my experience, it did help with the nausea. I want to say like a bit over a month, maybe. My body started to get used to it. I was less nauseous. I was kind of settled into a routine with food, and I mostly just ate dinner because I wasn't hungry most of the time, I guess because I was eating so much protein and stuff, and that was fine. Just eating 1 meal a day was fine, because I was also doing some fasting. So I started exercising, and I did have energy to swim, so that was good. I had some good days where I felt better. I also had flare-ups of my chronic and mental illnesses, which makes it difficult to really tell what's doing what and if something is affecting something, but whatever. I'm not sure what happened, but in the last week or so, I became completely unable to eat, and so we had to cut the diet short by a week. It was still 3 months, just minus a week, and I was honestly really grateful, and I felt a little guilty for cutting it short, but I literally couldn't eat, so we had to. So yeah, I was really relieved to be able to eat something other than eggs and cheese. I did have good days though, which was rare for me. I had days where I felt better. I felt happy some days, which was amazing because it had been a very long time since I felt that. And I'm not trying to ask for pity or anything, or be dramatic or anything. It's just life with mental and chronic illnesses, And I documented. If you haven't seen, I have a couple vlogs out called the Getting Better Chronicles, and that's vlogging my progress with the carnivore diet and exercise and stuff like that. So I'll link those somewhere if you're curious, but I think I did document that I was feeling good. I think it was the first vlog, honestly. But anyway, so yeah, I felt happy and also more clear-headed some days, less dissociated, which is amazing for me because I'm constantly out of it. But it was up and down. It was a roller coaster. So this diet is obviously really difficult, especially for someone like me who A, does not like most meats, and so I was super limited in what I could eat, and B, has contamination OCD, where if I get grossed out or triggered by a food for any reason, chances are I won't be able to eat that food for a while, if ever again. So yeah, that made it extra difficult. Some things I recommend if you're like me is changing up the way you make eggs and stuff. That can be a really big help, like making different textures and stuff. Also, changing the way you think about food. This sounds kind of obvious, but it was a change that I had to make, thinking about food as fuel rather than as like a comfort or anything. Like how I said coffee's a comfort drink of mine, but I did cut that out, you know? Does that make sense? Also, having a time frame can be really helpful. Again, for me it was 3 months, so I could remind myself, oh, only 2 months left, oh, only 4 weeks left, etc. You know? It helps with staying motivated and not getting discouraged or overwhelmed and quitting. Salt is a big help too. Just taking like a pinch of salt and eating it, good for headaches. I have a jar of salt in my room to just to be able to help with that. Tell me you have POTS without telling me you have POTS. Also, drinking pickle juice can help get your electrolytes back. I had to take it like a shot because I hate pickles, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. So now that I'm done with the carnivore diet, we're slowly adding more foods back in, avoiding processed foods again, and trying to really eat only like organic, non-chemically things, right? The current plan for me is to stay keto, but yeah, I mean, my main goal is staying away from processed foods and sugar, because I know that like if I eat something with sugar in it, like processed sugar, it's gonna be like difficult to stay away, you know? I don't know, maybe I just need to work on my willpower. I'm just gonna do my best to stay away from that and just try and eat healthy, you know? So this diet is difficult, but it is doable. It's not a diet I would take lightly. Definitely talk to your doctors about it again before you do anything. But yeah, it's not pleasant, but it is doable. Again, your body stops craving like the carbs and the sugars as much, and you get the hang of it. And resetting your gut can be very helpful, especially if you have like a yeast overgrowth or anything. And again, your gut affects everything. I lost weight from finally eating better and exercising, which isn't the main reason to do this, but it could be a side effect, you know? And that was one of the more noticeable things for me with the back and forth with like my mental health and, you know, the good days and the bad days. It was hard to like notice if it was doing anything, but physically you can see a difference, or I can see a difference. Does that make sense? I wouldn't recommend this diet as a weight loss diet, but I'm just saying it could be a side effect. It was one of the noticeable things for me. So final thoughts, I'm glad I did it. I'm hoping my body's a little bit healthier now. I think it was the push I needed to really like start eating healthier, you know? I'm also hoping that I never have to do it again. Sometimes taking care of yourself and your body sucks, but you know, it'll be better in the long run. Tell me your thoughts on the carnivore diet. Would you ever try it? Are you doing it now? I believe in you if you are. You got this. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see y'all later.